here today, you are the reason the platform exists. Your commitment to growth and excellence is what drives the impact you seek to create. As we officially declare the Images Executive Option 3.0 open, I am confident that today will mark the beginning of a new idea, stronger collaboration, and renewed commitment towards success.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and you're welcome to the Images Executive Talk Show 3.0. Can you please give the organizers a round of applause? Thank you. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Elawure Martins, and I'm your event compere for today. So it's an honor to be here. As you might know, the Images Executive Talk Show 3.0 is organized by Emages Multimedia Limited. And today, we are gathered to learn, we are gathered to connect, and then be equipped for what it takes to lead. So I want you to put your hands together because you guys are the real MVPs here today for showing up in time, even though we're starting 30 minutes behind schedule, but out of respect for your time and the time of our VIPs, our guest speakers that are here present, we want to start now while we wait for, we expect rather, other people to join us, both physically and online. So this event too is being streamed online. But I'd like to appeal to some of the people who are sticking with online that we still have room in the house, so please kindly join us from wherever you're coming from. Thank you very much. As we start, I will crave your indulgence to rise up as we take the national anthem. Media, are you ready for us? Yes, once again, you are welcome to the Executive Talk Show 3.0. Please, each time I mention Executive Talk Show 3.0, please, I just want you to give us a rousing applause each time because you're doing that for the organizers of this event. We're kicking off right away. I'll be welcoming the CEO of the Emages Multimedia Limited, which is a subsidiary of Emages Media Group. And like I said, they are the conveners for the executive platforms of which this particular event, which I like to call ETS, Executive Talk Show, is just one of those platforms, and like we call it, the transformative, you know, community, for executives. So kindly, with a round of applause, welcome the group CEO, Mr. Omotayo Elawure, for the opening remark.
Good morning, distinguished guests, esteemed speakers, industrial leaders, partners, and valued participants. Once again, good day and welcome to the Emages Executive Talk Show 3.0. It is with great honor and a deep sense of purpose that I stand before you today as we gather for yet another impactful edition of this transformative platform. On behalf of the entire Emages Multimedia platform team, I warmly welcome you all to this remarkable convergence of minds, individuals, leadership, and excellence. This year's theme, Equipping People and Organization to Unleash Sustained Performance, speaks directly to the reality of our time. In a world defined by constant change, evolving markets, and increasing complexity, performance to no longer about short-term success. It is about building system, people, and culture that can strive consistently over time. At Emages, we believe that sustained performance is not accidental, it is intentional. It builds through a It builds through a right mindset, strategic leadership, continuous learning, and deliberate empowerment of people. Organizations that endure are those that invest not only in results, but in the capacity of their people to innovate and adapt and lead. Today, the platform brings together thought leaders, executives and professionals who are not only shaping industries, but redefining what excellence looks like. Through insightful conversation, shared experience, and practical strategy, we aim to spark ideas that will translate into real impact within your organization and across a broader ecosystem. As we encourage in today's session, I encourage you to be present, be open, and be intentional. Ask questions, challenge perspective, build connection. Let this not just be another event attend, but a catalyst for growth and transformation. To our distinguished guests, distinguished guests, panelists, we appreciate your willingness to share your knowledge and experience. Your voice are critical to shaping the future of leadership and organization success. To our partners, collaborators, thank you for your continued support in making this vision a reality. And to every participant present here, I will take that again. To every participant here today, you are the reason the platform exists. Your commitment to growth and excellence is what drives the impact we seek to create. As we officially declare the Emages Executive Talk Show 3.0 open, I am confident that today will mark a beginning of a new idea, stronger collaboration, and renewed commitment towards sustained performance. On this note, I would like to say a very big thank you. You are all welcome.
Please, a round of applause for Mr. Elawure. That is the Group CEO, Emages Multimedia Limited. Once again, thank you everyone for being present at this event. Just like the lead convener mentioned, this is a place to interact, ask questions, and, probe things, get insight, and of course, connect with people. It was John F. Kennedy, um, one of the former presidents of the United States, that said that leadership and learning are two indispensable tools. They are always connected together. So every opportunity we have to learn positions us for leadership. And simply put, before you start thinking leadership is about being in politics or just being at the helm of affairs, leadership is about influence. Thank you very much once again. If you open your booklet, I'm assuming everyone has one. Okay, I'm trying to identify the exact page, but so I will just count. This should be the second page. On the welcome page, we have the event agenda to the right of that particular page, so you can follow through what will be going on here today. I'd like to just take a brief moment to recognize our VVIPs and our VIPs. Of course, like I mentioned earlier, we are all MVPs, for even being here at all. So please give yourselves a round of applause again. But of course, we have special guests. In fact, the way Emages talk show addresses our special personalities are very unique. So we have special, keynote speaker. We have the distinguished guest speaker. Then we also have the executive guest speaker. And we actually have the special guest speaker, So you discover that, our VVIPs, they come in all shades and colors that are unique. And of course, we want to make them feel very welcome here today. So we already have some in the house. And please, as I mentioned their names, I'd like you to put your hands together for them. We do have Professor Ademola Adedipe in the house from Phillips Consulting. Please put your hands together for him. Thank you very much, sir, for being here. We have also Mrs. Ugochi Osai in the house from Ignite Global. Put your hands together for her. And of course, just a few moments ago, I saw work in Mr. Pascal DK. Put your hands together for him, a man of many colors from Dega Multi-Concept. Thank you very much for being here this early for us. We don't want to take so much of your time, so we'll be getting running. But of course, we still have other guest speakers, like I mentioned, still coming in today, who would also form part of the panelists. The likes of Dr. Niyi Adesanya will still be here. We have a representative coming in for Mr. Kolawole Oshinowo, who is unavoidably absent because he had to travel to the United States. We still have Mr. Olawanle Moronkeji also coming in, as well as Mrs. Adenike Nwokorocha coming in, and Mr. Adebayo Adebeshin would also be joining us. So we are going to have a full house. But allow me to say this. Whenever I see a professor or someone that, has that appellation, my understanding is you are seeing an embodiment of knowledge. So our keynote speaker is not just the principal person from the prestigious Phillips Consulting. In fact, I remember that when I saw him today, I was telling him that Phillips Consulting happens to be one of those companies that I was targeting when I finished school then, that, I want to work in this place, because of the kind of prestige they had and the kind of influence they still have. can see that we're seeing it run, so I'll read a few things about Professor Ademola Adedipe. He's a management consultant, people transformation expert, and leadership thought leader with over 20 years of cross-sector experience spanning consulting, aviation, manufacturing, corporate services, and faith-based organizations. He currently serves as a managing consultant at Phillips Consulting Limited, where he leads strategic people transformation, engagements, business development initiatives, and high-impact consulting interventions focused on organizational effectiveness, leadership development, culture alignment, and sustained performance. In view of our theme for this event, equipping people and organizations to unleash sustained performance, please welcome upstage for the keynote speaking, Professor Ademola Adedipe, Managing Consultant, Phillips Consulting. Please put your hands together for Professor until he gets here. Please keep clapping. Thank you very much. You're welcome, sir.
Morning, everybody. Okay, if you are from the Western Hemisphere, it's still good morning up till here. But if you are from the Eastern, there will be good afternoon. Let's say good day, everybody. Yes. All right. So, quite excited on this call, the opportunity to share and to also connect, and we'll be taking a flight, navigating through this experience that we're going to be having. I'll be speaking to this theme, equipping people and organizations to unleash sustained performance. I have here elements of the document or material that I put together, articulated, and I see people standing. I see organizations standing. I see performance standing, and I see equipping. So it means if you do not equip the people component and you don't equip the organization as a whole, then the consequence of having not equipped them will mean you will not produce sustained performance. So one leads on to the other. And that's why we need to be very, very attentive and pay good attention, take notes, and we're going to fly. It's not going to be an academic journey as it were. It's going to be very practical. It's going to speak to what you already, a lot of us are abreast with this reality, but we're going to be connecting even the dots as we progress forward. Thanks to the organizers for bringing me up. I think this came up at the CIPM conference last year when Dr. Debbie, met me and said, okay, she will want me to get involved with something. And eventually, we got to meet the group CEO, the very wonderful Mr. I don't know why he's still Mr. I'm wondering why you are doctor and he's still Mr. I think it has to be Dr. Elawure also. Maybe I'm prophesying or saying something now, progressive. All right. So we're going to be looking at you. Please, pardon, I will have to be flipping back to be sure I'm on the page. Yeah, I wanted a monitoring system here. Leave all this big titling and all those stuff. Good. Now, if we look at this, let's just flip this off now. If we look at this, we see that for you to have sustained performance, it matters a lot. Nobody goes into business. Nobody goes into any engagement, whether a micro system, a macro system, whether a family unit, whether organizational unit, even the communities where he spoke, say leadership is not about being in government, but about providing influence. So when we have this understanding, we see that for us to be able to put all these things and fit them well, it draws very serious attention more than ever before. If there has ever been a time that we need results. As an individual, within the family unit, within the community and in the society, it is now more than ever before. Nobody wants to go into any venture and just, moves through the sands and no impact. We want to bring impact on board. And that's why people say numbers don't lie. But I know numbers lie at times, but genuine numbers don't lie. So we're going to be looking at genuine numbers now. It's not just numbers. So we see that to a large extent, 40% of employees, they say that annual reviews inspire them. Out of 100, 40%, if you get 40 in a class that I facilitate, it means you are coming back next year. I'm sure we all know that. So 40% does not cut it. So if it is at 40%, it means a lot needs to be done. And beyond that also, we see that 40% of the employees tell us that for them to be retained, especially when there's a performance management system that has been designed, they need, 40% cut it that better employee retention with strategic performance management. It means it's intentional. It is not just because I like your face or I like what you're doing in the person. You are tall, you are handsome, you are beautiful. That is not what we're talking about. We're saying if there is structured, intentionally designed performance management system, then 40% of the workforce will migrate towards settling because they know that they are putting in effort and their effort is actually being, justifying the reward system that is matching that. And if you also look, it tells us that 30% lower engagement in organizations using traditional annual reviews. What are we talking about? When you say traditional annual reviews, those are you come, sit down, you set your objectives in January, and everybody signs off, the KPIs are agreed to, everything is set, then you wait till maybe June if that organization is fair enough, or you wait a whole year cycle. It's paper driven to a large extent, and everybody wants, appraisal. So when you hear appraisal, it's not extending on the back of, I've delivered something. It's just opportunity to have promotion, opportunity to have increment. That's what comes to mind. When you hear appraisals, people are excited because they know possibility of increment is around the corner. That's the traditional mindset. When you're talking of performance management system, it goes beyond even the traditional mindset. And that's where, at this level, you need to know that it's not just how it used to be. Things are evolving. You heard what the group CEO, presented to us, that the landscape of things are shifting. The work environment is evolving. Things are not how it used to be. In fact, the introduction of AI has already brought disruption. Mega, massive disruption. Now, what will take maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 employees to sit down in a whole month to articulate, if you know how to prompt very well and your prompting is top-notch, sincerely, you can have this done under 1 day. I'm stretching the 1 day because I know in 1 hour you can actually deliver with infographics, designs, the template, everything will be generated. So a lot of things are changing. So when you still carry the traditional mindset of performance systems, then sincerely you are still in the prehistoric era of workforce layout. All right. We see here that organizations that embrace coaching, 40% of their workforce actually gets some improvement or the other. These are very big, percentages. But you see, people are employed with the mindset that you've gone to school, one, you've had your NYSC in Nigerian space, then beyond that, you've applied, you've gained experience, and they are paying you to deliver value. And they caught you, throw you into the river and say, swim. Whether there are crocodiles inside, whether there are sharks inside. In fact, in a previous employment many years ago, my CEO then told me, Ademola, can you swim? I didn't know where I was going to. He said, I don't think I can. It was within the aviation sector. I cannot swim, sir, but I can learn. I said, okay, because I need you to know how to swim. Reason, I'm throwing you into water that is filled with sharks and crocodiles. And I'm like, really? That was my welcome speech from my group CEO. Within that, we say, you want to throw me in water filled with crocodiles and sharks? It was telling me that you are expected with all the books and all the experiences, you've written articles, published journals and everything, you are expected to deliver. And anything short of delivering value, we will not accept it. I say quite a number of times, and some of the things, initiatives that I brought on board are still active in that space today. So performance is not something that is optional. And when you have the mindset that it is not optional, your mind will not be a fixed mindset. It's not like 30 days make one pay. Because a lot of people, 30 days make one pay is their philosophy. If you are looking to performing at the level of what you were employed to do, sincerely for me, promotion will not come. You need to go over and above. And that's one thing I need to let you know even today. All right. Let's and the reality also is that two people can't go to the university, come out with the same degree in the same course, and yet their performance management design will not be the same. And that's why it has to be personalized. But people have generic KPIs, they have generic objectives, everything is generic. No, you need to come to terms with the fact and reality that yes, we may be employed to do the same thing, but there has to be some element of personalization even in your design. All right, let's kick to the next slide, which is beyond this. A blueprint for sustained performance. Now, when I started, I said there are three elements of this thing: the people, the organization, and the culture. So when you're talking about the people, for me, the people, they are the cluster, they are the crux of the system. Everything is people, it emerges, it resonates, and it pulls off from the people component. In fact, when you speak to organizations, people form organizations. And that is the thing. So if you want organizations to actually be very performance producing, then it means you have to pay attention to the components that make up the organization. And that's the people element. So people want to improve the organization. I've had to speak at some conferences before, and I've been challenged at how do we improve Nigeria. And I tell them the only way we can improve Nigeria is to improve Nigerians. If the Nigerian element, the individuals, our mindset is still let us eat it now and think of what we're going to be eating later. Let us just whack it now and wait for whatever comes later, then Nigeria cannot be reset. So the same thing applies within the frame set of this talk show that we're having even today. If you want to improve an organization, focus on improving the people element of the organization. We have not yet improved, and we will not improve until we focus where we need to focus. The people form the area of building capacities. Now, your JD is not important as your skill set. Sincerely, people go for JDs. Your JD will tell you, they'll give you a job description, they give you a job title. Your job title is not as important right now in this new landscape of employment, landscape of work, as much as your skill set. So for you to actually move productively in any organization, your skill development will have to be very, very, you have to pay a lot of attention to it. So developing skills is not something. Right now, I have seen people that are medical doctors, friends that were medical doctors way back in Unilag those days. But right now, they are artistic directors. And you are wondering how it was the switch. They went into a lot of creative things, and they are not practicing medicine. A lot of those things happen. I have a friend that read botany back then in Unilag, and today is a fellow with Accountant Institute, FCCA, and is a senior partner within one of the consulting firms today. But his primary degree was botany. But because he developed skills and he built up competencies in the areas that he wanted to pursue, his primary certificate degree from the university did not limit him. And that's where skill, focusing on skill, is much more than you focusing on job titles. And moreover, if you are having a job title, you need to pay attention to skills. Do you have analytical skills? Do you have problem-solving skills, critical thinking skills, analysis, problem identification? All these things go. Do you have, like I see one of my friends now at this session, that are facilitating. We spoke about, well done, nice to see you again. We spoke about gravitas. When you enter a room, how is your carriage? You know, people, we need to learn this also. Some people are so cerebrally, heavy, but they don't have presence. It's a skill that you need to also learn. So when you get into a room, attentions are drawn, not for you to distract or create disruption, but because there's a movement about you. And as often say, be the undercurrent when you enter into any space, not just the waves. Undercurrents are always heavier than the waves. So when you look at this, skill development is very critical. And you also need to have environments where you have psychological safety. People should not be afraid to make mistakes around you. But we have built a system that once you make mistake, the society bounces on you. I don't know where we got that from. Our DNA needs to be reset. People make mistakes, but the mistakes they make, if you keep making the same mistake, that's where I have issues. It means you are not open to learning. But when you make mistake, it's an opportunity to learn. That's why I say failing forward. So psychological safety. Let people come up with initiatives. They may not be right at first. It may not make sense, but inside of nonsense, you have sense. Once you have nonsense, take away the none. What will you be left with? Sense. So have that mind. Contribution driven. No matter how little, your contribution matters a lot. So this is still talking about the people component within the frame set of this thing. Equipping people and organizations. Live unleashing sustained performance first. We'll get to that. Equipping the people. And you need to have personalized development. Some people are tech savvy. Some people are heavy in terms of thinking, in terms of the disk components. Some people are very frontal. They speak. Some people can articulate by writing. They may not be able to speak very well. And that's why team formation is very important. There are people that can speak well and there are people that can write well, but all of them brings something to the table. And that's the contribution that comes on the back of personalized development. Now, within the organization space here, you need to strengthen the systems. Agile performance management. What do you mean by agile? A lot of us feel once you start in January, then you run and get to December, everybody's excited that appraiser is coming. And once appraiser comes, opportunity for increments. But before you get to December from January, you have to get through January 1st. You get through February. You get through March. Now we are in April, my birthday month. And you move to May, my wedding anniversary month. It's quite interesting. And you get to June, the halfway line. And everybody say, first half of the year has gone. We're moving to set. So when you have an agile mindset about performance management, you know that it's going to be progressive. You will not get to December without going through points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what are you doing in month 1? Then before you get to month 1, you get to week 1. Before you get to week 1, you get to day 1. These things are progressive. They add cumulatively. So if you are not performing well and your score card is reading in January that you are very way below the average line and you are looking for promotion by year end, it means you need to start doing something. You need to start doing something. And you also need to bring cross-functional collaboration. If you are just, I've seen this thing in football management a lot. If you are just a left footer and the opponent knows that you are a left, they will put you at a disadvantage that you are not able to use that left. And once they nip your left leg, you know you are useless in that match. And that's why you see people that are just one-footed. Once you lock that foot, then they cannot deliver in that match. So the same thing applies. Have a cross-functional, collaborative, mindset where you are interested. You are in HR, you need to know what the finance guys are doing. You are in HR, you need to know what logistics, what procurement, what they are doing. You are in finance, you need to know what the strategy guys are doing. It cuts across. It has to be collaborative. Everybody brings all their own end to make the system work. So when you are within that organization system, you are strengthening that system, you are equipping the organization by applying cross-functional collaboration. And that's why working in teams, you pack, say for sake of discussion now, I'm sure you are used to the DISC model. You are used to the DISC model, which is the D tells us of dominance, influential, and all those stuff like that in terms of personality traits. Imagine a system where you pack all D's into one team. What do you think will happen? People will do Usyk and Gypsy King and Anthony Joshua will happen in that team. Now imagine if everybody is a C. You are just compliant. You are just obeying the last command. Nobody is taking initiative. Nobody is leading. Nobody is saying, guys, let's do it. Everybody say, okay, what did Oga say? Oga say, Oga say, Oga say. It's what everybody is aligning with. You are just absolute compliance. Nobody is even challenging the status quo. What do you think will happen? No result will be generated, and that's the sincere truth. Because they will always be waiting for someone to point them in the direction they should go. But there are elements that when you now bring all the D and the I's and the S and the C's together, and they are actively cross-functionally collaborating, then sincerely, somebody will raise, say, come. No, that thing you said, I'm looking at it from another angle. Can we not look? By the time you have challenges, it becomes better at the end of the day. So it has to also move in the area of data-driven intelligence. This is becoming very, very unavoidable now, data-driven intelligence. You don't move without clear sight. I worked in the aviation industry for some years, and I know that pilots, before they take off, they compute things into their log. They check the weight balancing. They key in. That's why if you come in late, they don't want to carry you. They will tell you that you have missed the flight. Because the weight, the luggage, the numbers of passengers, the crew, both cockpit crew, the cabin crew, have been computed into the system. So an additional 50 kg on top of that flight after the configuration can actually be fatal. And that's why data-driven intelligence, they are flying, they say, okay, what is the overall weight of luggage do we have? 300 kg. How did you spread it? And we have 80 in the front, 80 at the back, and you are now, that's 160 already, and you're having fun. No. If you do that, the aircraft will not be balanced. It's data-driven. They said, no, why can't you balance it across? Maybe 60 here, 60 here, then 80 at the center. It is data-driven. So you are taking a position. What's that rate? One policy by the government can actually topple an organization. So you need to be up to date with the progression of things. And also look at decentralized decision. If every decision has to come to the CEO for sign-off every time, that organization will not progress. And that's the truth. So with this understanding, there's a component of this, which is the culture. The culture drives continuous excellence. And what's the culture? I've spoken to culture a lot. Advice organizations, faith-based, there's a culture mindset that in this place, this is how we do things. If you don't do it that way, then you are not fitted into the frame of the organization. And some organizations, they'll tell you that no matter how well you perform, if a guy does not like you, at the end of the year, what happens? You join the queue again for another cycle of performance. But some organization will tell you, if you like, be the ugliest person in the world, if you are bringing value to the table and it's documented and it's being tracked and everything is flowing well, at the end of the day, it does not matter where you are from. Whether you are from Zamfara, whether you are from Bayelsa, whether you are from Kogi, whether you are from Ekiti, whether you are from anywhere, it does not really matter. Whether you are male, whether you are female, it does. In fact, I love the emergence of female CEOs now in a lot of our sectors. So it's not a gender-driven thing. It's a competency, capacity-driven thing. And mind you, they are performing very excellently. Very excellently. You can go and fact check me like one honorable will say, go and fact check me. So let me say today, fact check me. Female CEOs are doing wonderfully well in the space that me I've seen now. So you need to understand that what culture permeates within, what is the system that we run by. So before you start talking of unleashing sustained performance, the organization mindset, what do we hold? What are our values? What are those things that we hold on to? Integrity, collaboration, openness, free communication. Not that the flow of information will freeze at certain levels and you are still expected to deliver, but you are not equipped with information and the updated details. You know, there are some people that set you up to fail. I've seen that a lot. Senior top ranking officials, they set you up to fail because all the things that you need to deliver, they don't give you fully. They expect you to go and develop. Why do I need to reinvent the wheel when the wheel is already created? I'll just buy the type of wheel I want. So all these things add up together. And a culture of, recognition also. Everybody wants to be recognized. And mind you, recognition is not just cash or financial base. Ordinarily mentioning in a weekly sprint meeting that so person gave us the idea that led to this breakthrough. That is strong. Very, very strong. But I know also over time that some people are very professional hijackers. You bring in a concept, you bring in the ideas, and they put their name and slap it on the bottom and present it to the senior rankings, hierarchy. And when you do it once, maybe it was a mistake, you do it twice, the person bringing and cooking those ideas will just fall back and withdraw. And you lose the benefits of that person's innovative ideas. And I've also learned over time that the brightest person in the room may not really be the most senior ranking a lot of times. My senior son has taught me that a lot of times. He's a computer scientist. He does cinematography right now, shoots film. The money he has now at his age, I didn't have it. So the boy shakaras me a lot. So when I need certain angles, I call him and say, come, Adedola, I need so. Okay, daddy, okay. Are you there on the system? Are you this? Are you that? He guides me through. If I want to come in the African mindset and the daddy is the son, do you know I will miss out a lot? And this is his own generation. And me, at times they yab me and say I'm behaving like one old man. And my wife will tell them, say, come, my husband is not old, I beg. Don't speed his age up. That's the reality. At times, those little things that people say, just recognize them. Little value they bring on board. Recognize the little, that person will go back and encourage and it will generate more. And what I do, I will now use the brain of an experienced person to now articulate it well and present the idea that junior person gave me. But I've never done it, and I think maybe part of the family values that we have. If somebody has done something, give him a thumbs up for that. And if he does not do it well also, don't tear him up in public. That's the orientation my dad gave me. Don't tear him up in public. Call him up, address him, guide him, and point him in the right direction. Continuous learning also. My mom is almost 80, and she still took a course. And I'm like, this retired woman, when is she going to rest? I know what she's doing. She's a regional faculty for a body because she was a trainer, head of training for civil service, federal for many years, ASCON and all this. So all this HR and all this stuff that I'm doing today now is actually extending from my mom. Till today, she still went and took a course in Coursera for French. And I'm wondering, you said, c'est n'est pas français. Grandma, what do you need French for? Reason, they gave her a mandate to coordinate across West African countries for a particular group. And she said, there are more French guys in West Africa than English. So if I know how to speak French, she goes to Lomé. She goes to say, will I now be carrying interpreter up and down? At least those basic things. And she went sat for the course and she got the certificate. I said, Mommy, you want to use certificate at what age now? Are you going to apply for something? But that sense of continuous learning is something, it's a culture that we need to imbibe. Don't ever get to a level that you think that you know it all. No matter how much you know, there's still so much to know. That's the reality. And we need to have value-driven. And if you see the bottom line there, I say, organizations don't perform. People what? People do. So if you want to get value at the organizational level, make sure that you get your people to the level that they perform. They begin to perform. And it's an investment too. It is an investment. And when people are equipped, organizations are what? Please, play with me. Let's co-move. Let's co-pilot this flight. When people are equipped, organizations are what? Unstoppable. All right, thank you. Next slide. The people dimension, that is building the capacity. So when you talk, I've said earlier on, establish this reality that skills over job description. People like titles in this part too. And thank God, recently they've started regulating in Ghana regulations. If it is a honorary, you put honoris causa. If it's fully academic, then you put. That's why I like the great Sambakwe. He said his own doctor is PhD. It's not doctor that was given as an honor. Even though that is also valid because people have contributed a lot and they honor them with those doctor of letter, a lot of stuff like that. And it's quite interesting. But he said, don't call me Dr. Samumbakwe, call me Samumbakwe PhD. Ha! I looked at the man, I said, wow, interesting. So when you have this, people are so title crazy here. People, one big position like that, group, African, whatever, maybe, continental chairman, globus, many big titles. Beyond the titles, make sure that you have the skills. Getting into a room is not difficult. But when you get into the room, what will sustain you in that room is the skills and the abilities that you have. Not your name, not your title. Implement skill mapping across your organization. Let people know what they need to have. There are some skills. The higher you go, you don't really need certain skills as heavy. So those skills may just be on a rating of 5, maybe 1. But at certain levels, you need 4 of that same skill. And that's why not just having the skill. We use a platform at PCL, which is much skill, platform. And even on the skill set that you may have, we don't have the same ratings of that skill set. Somebody may have the beginner level, somebody will have an intermediate level, somebody will require an expert level. To an analyst, to someone that's an analyst, Power BI is more relevant to you. To analyze. The techie guys here, am I on course? The usage of Power BI, the usage of analytics stuffs is more relevant to an analyst than for me that is a senior executive. Or for maybe the MD. MD will want to see the breakdown. Just give me the executive summary. I don't need all those, how dy dx, differential, almighty formula. They don't need it. They don't need dy dx, differentiation, and all those stuffs. So implement skill mapping across your organization. Certain skills at certain level. Certain skills at certain level. Even the same skill, different levels across the mix. And create personalized development pathways. People don't learn at the same rate. There are people that they catch up with things early. Some people, you have to wind them like a vehicle that you are jump starting. But once they jump start, in fact, they take over. And you are pushing and say, oh, stop. I don't know if some of you saw a Facebook visual, one young girl. They said, run. And even when she crossed the line, she still kept running. And the father was shouting, stop. But you were the one that said, run. Now you are saying, stop. But the girl kept running, and they said she's still running. The last time somebody saw her was in Canada. She was still running. So we need to understand that people don't move at the same rate. So personalize their development pathway is very important. And establish upskilling budget. Make a budget for it. Training, like you are here at this conference now. We are going to pick up a lot of things across all the speakers at the panel level, individual presentations and all those stuff like that. So be attentive. Some things that you grab here may not be relevant as it were now, but in the next 5 years, they will be the jokers that you place on the table. That's one thing I've learned. Leverage technology to track skill acquisition. This one is very important. If somebody is here, sincerely, and you are telling me that you don't want to align with technology, I will need you to go to the back, hands up, and close your eyes. Seriously. Tech is driving everything. Tech is doing what? Driving everything. So we need to be tech savvy, leverage it, and but what I tell you is that technology or AI should not take over the steering. You will still be the driver, but they are the conductors of the vehicle. They guide, they accelerate, they fast track, and they help us to move. So your title does not determine your career trajectory, but your capabilities do. People could have titles, but they are not very capable. So when it matters, it's actually your capabilities coming on board. And the second principle is psychological safety, as we've spoken to, as a performance infrastructure. When people know that they can make genuine mistakes and you will not crush them, they'll be willing to take more. At times, you see Lionel Messi, let me use him as a case now. He plays free kick and he scores. Do you know that okay, let me even go older. Lionel Messi is recent, a David Beckham. Some of you that are football, lovers, you know David Beckham. That guy, Roberto Carlos, they play free kicks and you are wondering, every time. But do you know they have played 1,000 free kicks and they have made mistakes in the practice? So when they now get to the field and they play 2 free kicks and they score the 2, you are like, wow. But they have played 998 other free kicks that they did not score on the training ground. But out of the 1,000, the only 2 they scored, they say, wow, that guy is a free kick legend. To become a free kick legend, you must have been missing it a lot in the background. Because every 90 minutes football game is on the back of hours and hours and hours of practice on the pitch. So we need to learn this. So when people have the mind that they can make mistakes and you don't crush them, they will still go and get things fine-tuned, come back with value to you. So train managers to solicit dissenting opinions. When people know that, when Oga says something, after Oga says something and you want to raise anything, like they used to say where the village I come from, say, you want to use a lantern to see the eye. I don't know, please interpret this by your own understanding. You want to use lantern to look at the eye of tiger. If you are a Yoruba person, you know what I'm talking about.